I'm bringing this up on my computer so I can see if it actually is working or not. So, yeah. Okay, it says I'm live. Let's see whether I'm able to be heard. Hello, am I here? Hello, am I here? Okay, cool. I can be heard. Now let's share this link out. Hello, am I here? Okay, cool. I can be heard. Now let's share this link out. Hello. Share. To Twitter. Come on. Hoodoo. Okay, now let's see about sharing this to my groups. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, it says 2 people are watching. That's cool. Oh, hitting. Hey, Hammer, how's it going? So, you coming by to see me fumble my way around reacting to this? Ah. So yeah, I have never done this before. So we'll see how well it goes. And it should be coming back at any time now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I actually thought you were being serious, we might have issues. Johnny Depp is coming up for cross-examination. It's going to be interesting. And I would have done his whole stuff, but I was actually at work. Okay, looks like we're seeing something. Ah, crap. Okay, there we go. Okay, we have Judge Ascarati, and we have sound. I just got home from work, by the way. Ugh. All rise for the jury. Ugh.
All right, you can have a seat. All right, cross-examination.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Depp, I'd like to start with the honeymoon that you and Ms. Heard took in late July 2015.
Certainly.
You testify that you took a train ride from Bangkok to Singapore, is that right?
That's correct.
And you claim that on this train ride that Ms. Heard hit you in the face, correct?
Yes.
And left a black eye, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And Michelle, could you please pull up PX 162?
Is that already in evidence?
Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor.
Published to the jury?
Thank you.
Yeah. This is a real life thing in Haber.
Mr. Depp, this is the picture that your counsel showed you both in your prior, or showed you this morning, correct?
Yeah. Take a close look at that thing.
And that mark under your left eye is what you claim to be a black eye caused by Ms.
Yeah.
Heard, correct?
And she looks completely fine.
Seems to be there's some scratches around my nose as well.
Okay. All right, but that it's your left eye, the one close to the chef. That's what you says your black eye, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm pinning
That
that
was the
message,
picture
Hammer.
your team chose to show you, right? Let's pull up Exhibit 1905, Michelle, please.
I'm sorry, which number was it?
This is a new exhibit, Your Honor, 1905.
And that's defendants?
Defendant's Exhibit 1905.
Okay, thank you.
And an
Ask for
abusing
permission to publish, Your
bitch
Honor.
Oh, you
can
want
do
to
a
put it
lot
in
more than that.
evidence? Okay, any objection to 1905?
With the comments, we have no objection to the photograph itself. We would ask the comments be redacted as hearsay.
Well, I'd like to at least question the witness about the
I
comments.
have no objection to the photograph being published.
Okay, well, let's wait a minute. Mr. Depp, you see here, these are 4 pictures of you, right?
Yes,
Yeah, and below it, they indicate that they were taken on July 24th, 2015 in Bangkok, Thailand, correct?
Objection, lack of foundation, calls for speculation.
Overruled.
in Bangkok, Thailand, so before the train ride.
Correct, before the train ride, because you didn't get on the train ride till the 25th, is that right?
Somewhere in that area, I guess.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask for permission to publish this to the jury.
Okay.
If it's just the photographs, we have no
All
objection.
right, if you want to redact the, just have the photographs.
By the way,
Sure.
I'm using Sky News instead of
19
Long Crime
yeah,
because
1905,
Long Crime
just redaction.
are assholes. Oh, by the way, Amber Heard is also worse than Black Widow, which is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. So,
I think there's still some on the bottom.
It's just redact that. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. I wanted to look at that. Hey, Rapid. How's it going? Hamster came in getting ready to try to troll beyond Amber and realized it was a bad idea.
I
So, yeah. In case I need to say it, for anyone who hasn't noticed my opinions on all of this, Amber Heard is a terrible, terrible person. And the things that she's alleged that Johnny Depp has done to her just could not have been done to her. I mean,
Thank you, Michelle.
All
like,
right, publish.
one sec.
Thank you, Your Honor. Michelle, could you please scroll down to the bottom two pictures there? Mr. Depp, in these pictures that were taken before you got on the train ride for your honeymoon, where you claim that Miss Heard hit you and gave you a black eye, you have the exact same shadow or sunburn or mark under your left eye.
Exact
The
same?
exact same mark, don't you?
That's
doesn't-
the,
That doesn't look like the exact same to
you
me.
got a side light, you see the occipital bone. So
You're talking to an actor who understands
that
lighting.
is the exact area.
Yep. And it's actually,
A side light will cause that.
yeah, well,
as
the
well.
picture's not being taken from the side, is it? It's being taken
No,
head
no,
on,
no, no,
isn't it?
no. The lens in front,
Yep.
the light on the side.
Right.
Will cause that occipital bone, I believe it's called,
Mm-hmm.
to appear sunken. And
Just like lights on the side of a train car, correct?
Yes.
Objection
Well,
calls for
It
speculation.
is.
Take that down,
It's
Michelle.
very interesting,
that was
hamster.
in fact in the dark.
Sus-
I had a
sustain-
chef, I had people on either side.
At least to a lot of people.
If you could
I
wait for the
don't
next-
see where the light fill is from the side there.
Mr. Depp, if you could wait for the next question, next question.
Next
Oh,
question.
sorry.
Even
I've
the
watched-
picture
I've
your
watched
team
all of it,
chose
by the
to
way,
show
hamster.
you on that train isn't accurate, is it? Let's pull up
Objection
exhibit-
calls for
let-
speculation.
Let's pull up exhibit 1859, please.
1859, is that in evidence? or-
No, Your Honor.
So what are they going for now? And there's a lot of reasons why this one in
Mr.
particular
Depp,
is
this is
important,
this is the same picture or the same
hamster.
the exact same scene displayed in PX 162 that you looked at this morning, correct?
Actually, the Kyle Rittenhouse case
That
had some of that going on, hamster.
Looks like my face has been, the eyes have been photoshopped.
Oh, okay. So this post from the Eastern and Oriental Express's Facebook page, you're saying that that's photoshopped?
Is
Let's
that from
pull
their
them up
page?
side
I
by
would, sure, why wouldn't they?
Let's pull them up side by side, please.
Let's take a look.
Your Honor, I'd move for the admission of
Oh, right.
This exhibit. We can just have the pictures.
We only get to see it
Any
when it's
objections
been
to the
published.
picture?
Objection, lack of foundation, lack of authentication.
Yeah, we don't get to see it until
that
it's
you
been
in the
published to
photo,
the
Mr.
jury.
It is
Oh,
me,
I'm
but
gonna
it's
watch
clearly-
it. Don't worry,
Your
hamster.
Honor,
been-
I'd move
it's
to strike
been-
anything after that, first of all.
I am
ask
watching
for admission
Kenobi.
of this photograph.
All right, just a photograph?
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
you're
Gonna be a shit
We
show.
maintain our lack of authentication, lack of foundation.
All right, over objection, I'll allow 1859 in evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor. Michelle, could I please get you to?
You need to redact it first.
We actually have one. It's that will admit or ask to be admitted as 1858. That is just the picture.
I already have 1859.
Okay, so we'll call this 1859 then.
So this is 1859.
Yeah, we just need to.
Okay.
We'll fix that exhibit sticker on the bottom and get you
But
that.
by the way, if you guys wouldn't mind
Correct,
hitting the like
1859.
button, I'd appreciate it.
59.
And Michelle, what I'd like to ask you to do, please, is to put the picture displayed as 1859, just was admitted into evidence, next to PX 162 that was shown to Mr. Depp this morning.
Okay, you can pop, those are both in evidence.
Can you try to make them the same size, please?
Oh, they want to go for doctrine and stuff? That
This is the
could be
exact same
opening a door
picture,
they,
isn't it,
they
Mr.
might not
Depp?
want to do.
With radically different quality. And
No, you answered my question.
how
Permission
do
to
you know I
publish.
wasn't done?
You answered my question, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
You're very welcome.
Mr. Depp, you had that, whatever mark it is, whether it's a sunburn, whether it's a shadow, whether it's the light reflecting, you had that same mark on your eye
Well,
before
send me
you
the
got on
stream
that
link,
train.
dude.
Well, it's pretty difficult to get a sunburn on a train. And
let's
in the
go to-
photographs with the child, I don't look particularly sunburned. Can we see those again?
Let's pull up exhibit one. Actually,
can
no.
we see
Let's
those again?
talk about Australia for a little bit.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
You testified that you've never done ecstasy more than a handful of times in your life, correct?
6, 7 times.
Now, you heard Miss Heard's testimony. You've been sitting here. I know you didn't look at her, but you heard her testimony, and
Oh, I
you
heard
heard her. You didn't hear her say you ingested 8 to 10 all at once. She said she came down after being apart from you for some time, and there were 8 to 10 gone from the bag. Correct?
Objection form compound.
Oh, overruled.
I also heard Miss Heard say I reached into a bag and poured a bunch of
Yep.
MDMA down my mouth.
Correct. That's right. She didn't say you poured 10 at one time, did she?
No, she said a handful.
Okay.
Which is more than 10, I believe.
Okay, the fact is, Mr. Depp, you were asking for
Oh, God.
ecstasy. You who have only done it 6 times in your life, you were asking for ecstasy and cocaine within minutes of being admitted to the hospital after suffering your finger injury, weren't you?
Objection compound.
I don't recall that I was
Overruled.
Let's
begging
pull up.
for any drugs.
Yeah, let's pull up plaintiff's or exhibit 393, please. You just
Okay,
said you don't
let's see.
recall you were begging for any drugs.
No, I don't,
that-
but I do
okay.
recall being in great pain and great distress, so
Okay.
I could have asked for a teddy bear as well.
Okay. So this has been admitted, Your Honor.
This is in evidence, okay? And publish.
And if you can blow up the text, please, Michelle. In this text message, Mr. Depp, you were, after you suffered your finger injury, you just testified you don't recall asking for any drugs. You're texting
Oh,
Nathan
no.
Holmes, your personal
You don't even
assistant,
know the
"Need
first
more
thing about
whitey
what this
stuff
is, do you?
ASAP, brother man, and the
It's
e-business."
about-
Now,
it's about
we went over
defamation.
this in your cross-examination, didn't we?
If you say so, sir,
I can explain it to you later
whitey
if you'd
stuff
like.
is cocaine,
I would say.
and the e-business is ecstasy.
Uh,
You already
yeah,
said
quite
so.
likely, yes.
Okay.
So
You
I
can take that
didn't
note.
recall that.
Thank you.
But,
Can you pull up exhibit 1817, please? This is a picture that you were shown this morning, Mr. Depp,
yes, sir.
and you kind of made some illustrations on the picture and gave your account of what you see here. Mr. Depp, you testified previously that the vodka bottle that you allege cut off your finger was a handle of vodka, correct?
Yes.
You've already
the
testified to that,
second
correct?
bottle, there was a handle on that bottle,
Right.
yes.
This bottle, whatever it is, to the extent it's glass at all, that's in the corner of this room, that's not a handle of vodka.
Objection calls for speculation.
I think you'll find that I said 2 bottles.
Well, actually,
Wrong.
what you testified to this morning, Mr. Depp, was that the bottle in the corner was the handle, and there is no other bottle in the picture, is there?
No, that's not what I testified. I testified that, may I touch the screen?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to see. Okay,
It's glass. This is glass.
Yep. And that's not a handle. Neither of those are handles of vodka.
It's that big, it's broken. The handle's up the top on those vodka bottles, sir.
Yeah.
I mean,
And none, if you combine all that glass on the floor, that doesn't make up the amount of glass in a handle of vodka, does it?
Objection calls for speculation.
I'm not a, you know,
When there's objection, hold on. I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
There is no picture
Yeah.
of a handle of vodka broken on that floor, is there, Mr. Depp?
no, I don't see it. I see glass under this chair here.
Okay. Well,
yeah, as if
you
all
testified
of
this
the
morning
glass
that
is
you
going to
did
be
see it, so it's good
seeable
to
in
get that
this.
clarification. Let's move
No, I
on.
didn't say I saw
That's-
it.
that's just-
You also
that's
testified this
motherfucking
morning
stupid.
that yeah, and I want to get this. I want to make sure that we're on
I
the
don't
same
think
page
this is the
here.
gotcha he
You
thinks it is.
testified earlier this morning that there was no phone in the bar area downstairs. Is that what you testified to?
I don't recall a phone in the bar area.
Okay.
I don't recall. I don't recall a Bakelite phone in the bar area where I.
Okay.
No.
Let's pull up Michelle, please. The UK day 3, page 421. Mr. Depp, we've done this drill before. This is your testimony from the UK, correct?
Can I please have,
It's this. We don't have copies for everyone. It's on the screen.
Your
right
Honor,
there.
may I please, I would like to have what he's the testimony of the
Here,
witness.
you can have my copy. Mr. Depp, you remember giving testimony in the UK trial for several days, correct?
Okay, so, yeah, okay, here.
Yeah.
So I
And
do
you-
remember a telephone in the bar area, and this
Yeah, well,
telephone you picked up was made of Bakelite.
this is my turn to do this, Mr. Depp.
I'm sorry.
On page 421, line 19, you were asked the question, and this telephone that you picked up was made of, I'm sorry, I'm going to go up line 15. Question, at one stage when you were in the kitchen screaming at Ms. Heard, you picked up a wall-mounted telephone. Do you remember a telephone in the kitchen? Answer, no ma'am, I remember a telephone in the bar area. Question, and this telephone that you picked up was made of Bakelite. Do you know what I mean by that? A retro telephone, wall-mounted but retro. Answer, it was a wall-mounted telephone, but it was not Bakelite. It was a modern phone. It was plastic. Question,
How do you know
a
what
phone that
Bakelite
was
is?
a wall-mounted phone that was picked up. Can you scroll down, please? Question, a phone that was a wall-mounted phone that was picked up by you, held in your right hand, and you were repeatedly smashing it against the wall in your right hand. Answer, that is possible. But I do not, if that is the case, I do not believe I spent very much time on the phone. I remember ripping the phone off the wall. That was your testimony, correct?
It seems it would be yes.
Thank you. You answered my question. Thank you. Mr. Depp, you've claimed before, you've said, if I'm angry and I've got to lash out or hit somebody, I'm going to
Honestly,
do it.
that one does not
And
look
I
great
don't
for him.
care what the repercussions are. Anger doesn't pay rent. It's got to go. It's got to be evicted. You've said that before, haven't you?
Have you a quote from me somewhere saying that?
It's my question to you. You've said that before, haven't you? Well, actually, let's refresh your recollection. Can you pull up,
Be great.
if it goes to the machine article, please?
Possibly about paparazzis.
I already did.
Mr. Depp,
It,
you
no,
see
it's
the
not about a
picture of
divorce.
you
A divorce happened,
on the lower left,
but
appears to be shirtless and wearing a
that's
crown.
not what this is
I
about.
believe.
It's about
You
it's
see
about
the
defamation.
long paragraph above that starts with in
Johnny
the Mark
Depp is
Hotel.
suing Amber Heard
yes,
for
yes,
defamation of
yes,
character.
At the bottom of that, does this refresh your
And
recollection that you said,
And in that defamation of character,
I have a lot of love inside me
she
and a lot
accused
of
him
anger
of,
inside me as well.
of sexual violence
If
and
I love
domestic
somebody,
violence
then I'm going to love
towards
them.
him.
If I'm angry and I've got to lash out or hit somebody,
You mean
I'm
towards her?
going to do it, and I don't care what the repercussions are. Anger doesn't pay rent. It's got to go. It's got to be evicted. Did I read that right?
And I have a kitty.
You did read that right, yes.
Thank you. You can take that down, Michelle, please. Now, Mr. Depp, you've also claimed that you've said before that if you want to be with a woman sexually, that she is rightfully yours, haven't you?
Could you repeat that?
And you've
That's
also said that
probably
with
Could you
in
respect-
repeat that,
random
please?
text.
yeah, that if you want to be with a woman sexually, that she is rightfully yours.
Uh-huh.
That's ludicrous.
You've also said that with respect to women that you want to be with, you've remarked, I need, I want, I take, haven't you?
Equally as ludicrous, no.
Can you pull up DX883, please?
It's probably going to be in a text between him and some
You
friends.
can pull it what you like. I've never said those words. There's not enough hubris in me to say anything like that.
883?
883, Your Honor.
It's not,
DX
is it
It
empty?
is not admitted yet.
Okay, 883.
My kitty is sitting in front of me and purring.
Mr. Depp, these are text messages from you to Stephen Deuters on February 22nd, 2017, correct?
This looks nothing like me. You might have mistaken.
Mr. Depp, we can show the full unredacted. You've looked at a number of text messages in this case, and the words him as the identifier That's you, correct? In every text message we've seen in this case.
Yeah, sure. But still doesn't mean it hasn't been screwed with. That's not anything that I've ever said or written.
You want to see the whole thing unredacted? We can look at that too.
No, because you could have typed it up last night. No.
Yeah. I can assure you I didn't type it up last night, Mr. Depp. Your Honor, I'd move for the admission of Exhibit 883.
All right, any objection?
Objection on relevance grounds, Your Honor.
All right, well, do you want to approach for a moment? Let's take a look.
Approach. And typically, you need to get these things verified by someone. I've seen Rakea talk a lot about how one of the big mistakes that some people have is that they just admit to the text. If they're trying to get this admitted through Johnny Depp, that's a problem for them if he says that he didn't, if he says that it's not him. So, yeah. And them trying to get it admitted right after he said, no, that's not me. There's a problem here. So, yeah, and as far as what this is about, Amber Heard has also made a counterclaim against Johnny Depp for. Oh, we're back.
883 in evidence as redacted.
Thank you. Mr. Depp, you're aware that these are text messages. You can see the bottom right where it says Depp and then it has a number, 8129. Those are produced by you in this litigation. You understand that, right?
I understand that, sir.
Okay. All right. Michelle, could you please, let's take a look at the top text first.
Let's see what this looks like. This has
Mr.
the
Depp,
this
on
has the potential
February
to be bad.
22nd, 2017, you texted Mr. Deuters, right, exactly, Molly's pussy is rightfully mine. Should I not just bust in and remove its hinges?
Oh, come on.
Did I read that right?
That's a
Really?
joke.
And the one beneath that, you say, I want to change her understanding of what it is like to be thrashed about
Oh my
like
God.
a pleading mackerel.
I
And
mean,
then in all caps, you write,
I don't
I need,
like it. It's
I won't,
tasteless
I
and
take.
bad, but
Did I read that right?
You read it right, but I did not write that.
Okay.
and even if he did,
Perhaps someone else.
You wrote
had
every
my
other
fault.
Locker
text that you
room-
produced that
lo-
came from you in this
locker
litigation,
room
didn't you?
talk.
Not necessarily. Sometimes you give your people your phone to people.
Bone.
and they
Now,
text
when you
Thank
got
you.
off that plane,
Excuse me?
yeah,
from
me
Boston,
boo.
I'm sorry?
when you got off the plane from Boston,
I
you knew Miss
do
Heard
kind
was
of
angry
I do find
with
it
you.
disgusting, but
It was pretty much a given.
Objection calls for speculation.
And you understood her to be angry, right?
She was always angry, yes.
And you asked Mr. Deuters, same person, you can take this down,
Deuter.
Michelle, please, thank you.
duty.
Same person that you texted in that last exhibit. You asked Mr. Deuters to communicate with her on your behalf, correct?
I don't know what you're talking about. You'll have to explain.
You asked Mr. Deuters to communicate with Miss Heard by text to speak to her about the incident, correct?
About what incident?
To speak to her about the plane flight,
The plane?
the Boston plane.
The Boston plane. So you're saying that I influenced Mr. Deuters. I told him that he had to write this, and I had told him that he had to write that. Is that what you're saying?
No. It wasn't uncommon for Mr. Deuters to text to communicate with Miss Heard on your behalf, correct?
Objection calls for speculation.
He was your personal assistant. Mr. Deuters was your personal assistant, correct?
I had two personal assistants at the time.
He was one of them, right?
Yeah, Mr. Deuters was one of them, yes, sir.
Right, and it wasn't uncommon for you to ask Mr. Deuters to communicate with Miss Heard on your behalf, correct?
It wasn't uncommon for any of them to communicate with Miss Heard on my behalf if I were on set or unavailable or any of that.
Or if Miss Heard and you had a fight, you would sometimes have them to communicate with Miss Heard on your behalf, correct?
I think my crew caught on very quickly that
Just a yes or no,
would
Mr.
be
Depp.
necessary for them to.
No, just a yes or no. It was not uncommon after
Objection,
you and Miss
Your
Heard
Honor.
had
I'd ask that he be allowed to finish his
a yes
answer.
or no question, Your Honor.
All right. Go ahead and ask your question again.
Thank you, Your Honor. wasn't uncommon for you to have one of your personal assistants communicate with Miss Heard after you and her had a fight.
I disagree because you're insinuating that I had them do it, and you don't know that.
After the Boston plane flight, you had Mr. Deuters communicate with Miss Heard, correct?
When I'm asked what to do, I said placate her, just placate her like we always do.
And you told him, send her whatever message you need to send to
I'm
placate
sorry,
her,
he's
correct?
sorry, he feels bad, yes, because any other answer, it would turn into World War III.
Okay. Can you pull up Exhibit 229, please? Your Honor, I think you know where I'm going here, and based on Mr. Depp's testimony, I'd move for the admission of Exhibit 229.
Your Honor, can we please approach?
Sure.
So, yeah. Honestly, those texts don't look great for him, but also the way that he confronted him about them beforehand was like he actually thought those things. Whereas disgusting as it is, a person making
Mr. Depp,
bad jokes does not
You were
mean
pretty
to be
angry
illegal.
after Miss Heard got her temporary restraining order, weren't you?
Oh, I wonder why.
Angry. I was, more than anything, I was hurt.
And you testified earlier this morning, you claimed that you somehow were responsible for her getting the role with Warner Brothers, correct? That's what you testified to this morning. You also tried to get her fired from Aquaman, didn't you? After the temporary restraining order.
Which question would you like me to handle first, sir?
One question, sir. You tried to get her fired from the Aquaman after the temporary restraining order, didn't you?
Well, what is related to the story about me getting
It just
her?
yes or no, Mr. Depp. I
So
didn't
life
ask
does
what
not
related,
come down to
what the
yes or
story
no at all
related to.
times. I can't please you with a yes or a no every single time.
It's a yes or no question, Mr. Depp. You tried to get Ms. Heard fired, didn't you?
Answer's no.
All right, let's pull up Exhibit 821.
After he's made it clear that it's a gray area, which says to me that he did do something. Like he
that
did
Mr.
it
Depp,
is
intend
this-
to hurt it, not
This is
necessarily fire.
This is a
fire.
text message that you had with your sister, Chrissy Dombrowski. She was the first witness in this case, right?
She doesn't work at Warner Brothers. You can't fire Amber.
Yeah. This is a text message you had with her on June 4th, 2016, isn't it?
June 12th, yes.
Your Honor, move for the admission of Exhibit 821 as redacted.
Any objection?
We would object on relevance grounds, Your Honor.
I'll overrule that objection. 821 in evidence.
Okay, then let's see what this is. By the way, as all
On
this
June
stuff is
4th,
going, they are running their
2016.
clock out.
Mr. Depp, you
Just saying.
texted your sister, I want her replaced on that WB film.
He said that to his
Did I read that
sister.
right?
You did.
Her is referring to Amber, right?
That's correct.
And WB
He
is
said
Warner
that
Brothers,
to
correct?
his sister.
Again, correct, yes.
And then
What's
after you
that-
sent this text to your
Okay,
sister,
I think we need more than that.
following the temporary restraining order, you reached out to Guy Silverstein to have him fire Amber, correct?
Who?
It's Greg Silverstein, I'm sorry.
I don't recall reaching out to Greg Silverstein.
You reached out to Sue Crawl to get him to
Particularly.
fire Miss Heard, right?
I had vetted Miss Heard. And I had vetted Miss Heard.
Mr. Depp, you got your chance
Warner
to speak this morning.
Brothers had,
Your Honor, I'd
Warner
ask-
Brothers
Sorry.
had two franchises.
Mr. Depp, if you could just answer the question, sir. All right, next question.
You reached out to Greg Silverstein to get him to try to get Amber fired from Aquaman, didn't you?
Asked and
reached-
answered.
Excuse me?
Asked and answered.
It's a yes or no question that he hasn't answered, yes or no.
All right.
Yes or no, sir? You reached out to Greg Silverstein to try to get Amber fired from Aquaman.
Second half of your question is wrong, sir.
You
I
reached out to Sue
them
Crawl.
because I vetted her.
No, Mr. Depp. You reached out to Sue
What
Crawl
would you
to
like?
get
I
her
don't
to try to get her to help you get Amber fired from Aquaman, didn't you?
No.
And you reached out to Kevin Sujihara to try to get him to help you get Amber fired from Aquaman,
I could have
didn't
known
you?
that he reached out to them to say that he
Can you
wanted
pull
to
up
take his
Exhibit
vetting back.
857, please?
Not to say that they need to fire her, but that I no longer vouch for her. That's what I think's going on here.
Mr. Depp, this is a
That's gonna
text
come up on
message
direct.
that you sent to Christian Carino on August 15th, 2016, correct?
This is already in evidence, correct? Or is it 857?
Parts of it are,
Oh, so not this.
not this
Well,
version.
this can't be 857 then, don't.
850, sorry.
Mr. Ron, but you can't do this to me.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Understood. We'll call it 857A.
857. Okay. All right. Yes, sir. Thank you.
My apologies, Your Honor. Mr. Depp, you sent this text to Christian Carino on August 15th?
I most certainly did.
Okay. And in this text that you sent to Christian Carino is the person who used to be Amber's agent and then was your agent for a time, correct?
That is correct.
And in this text,
That is correct.
Your Honor, permission to publish, please.
You want to put it in evidence
Yeah,
first?
move for admission of
Any
857A.
objection?
No objection.
All right, 857A, as redacted, will be in evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor. And in this text, Mr. Depp, you said, she's begging for total global humiliation. She's going to get it.
No.
I'm going to need your texts about San Francisco, brother. I'm even sorry to ask, but she sucked Mollusk's crooked dick and he gave her some shitty lawyers. I have no mercy, no fear, and not an ounce of emotion, or what I once thought was love for this gold-digging, low-level, dime a dozen, mushy, pointless, dangling, overused fucking fish market. I'm so fucking happy she wants to go to fight this out. She will hit the
sounds
wall hard.
kind
And I
of-
cannot wait to have this waste of a cum guzzler out of my life. I met a fucking sublime
On
little Russian
point
here,
with
which made me realize the
you-
time I
you
blew on
said
that
before.
50-cent stripper. I wouldn't touch her with a goddamn glove. I can only hope that karma kicks in and takes the gift of breath from her. Sorry,
Oh.
man, but now I will stop at nothing. Let's see if Mollusk has a pair.
Mollusk.
Come see
I'm
me
assuming
face
that's
to
Elon
face.
Musk.
I'll show him things he's never seen before, like the other side of his dick when I slice it
Oh
off.
my God.
Did I read that right?
You did.
You did.
Now, not long after this, you can take that down, Michelle. Thank you. Not long after this, you met Mr. Waldman in the late summer or fall of 2016, correct?
I believe, yeah, September, October, somewhere in there, whatever.
And he's been your attorney since then, correct?
Yes, sir.
My God.
And you met with him with the Daily Mail in London in February 2020, didn't you?
I'm sorry, again?
You and Mr. Waldman together met with the Daily Mail in London in February 2020, didn't you?
Are you asking me a question about my attorney and I?
Yeah, that you two met with people from the Daily Mail in London in February 2020.
They just transitioned directly into that.
Was that during the London trial?
No,
No?
no, in February.
I don't recall it, though.
Okay.
I don't.
To the extent Mr. Waldman testified that you did, you don't dispute that, correct?
I just don't, I don't recall it.
Okay. You don't disagree with Mr. Waldman's testimony that you and he met with people from the Daily Mail in London in February 2020, correct?
If that's Mr. Waldman's testimony, then...
Okay.
But I just didn't necessarily know who these people were.
There's also don't always
The
remember
same month
everything.
that the Daily Mail released alleged tapes between you and Amber.
Objection
Correct.
calls for speculation, lack of
Alleged.
personal knowledge.
Alleged
I'll
tape.
sustain the objection. Next question.
Now,
Right there, they're
Mr.
trying to
Depp,
get the link
you
in there.
testified, and I wrote it down before lunch. You said, when Ms. Myers asked you something about, how does it feel to make you, or how does it
That
feel
was
to be here? You
kind of
said,
slick,
I've
actually.
been living with it for 6 years and waiting to be able to get the truth out. Remember saying that?
Yes.
You also said, I've spoken up for what I've been carrying on my back. Something to that effect. You remember saying that?
Yes.
And you've claimed several times in this proceeding, Mr. Depp, that this trial is your first chance to tell your story, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
But that's just not true, is it, Mr. Depp? That's not true.
As
I think he's
no,
trying
for
to.
me, it is true.
Okay. Well,
Okay, I think he's
here's
trying to
the
parse
thing.
the double negative.
The fact is, Mr. Depp, when Dan Wooten wrote an article that was published in The Sun calling you a wife beater, you brought a lawsuit against The Sun in June of 2018, correct?
Yes, I brought
And
a
that
lot.
was 6 months before Miss Heard ever wrote her op-ed, correct?
I don't know.
And in the summer of 2020, there was a several-week trial in London
Oh, that farce.
against The Sun, correct?
That was a
Miss
farce.
Heard was not a party to that trial. Was she?
Not my
Or was
question,
that-
Mr. Depp. In the article that The Sun wrote that you sued over, you sued for Mr. Wooten calling you a wife beater, correct?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained. Next question.
And in the trial that you subsequently brought, you called a lot of witnesses, right?
I don't know what a lot is. I don't know.
Many people testified on both sides of the trial, correct?
Yes, many people.
And
Both
many
sides,
exhibits
both
were
sides.
introduced, correct?
Like a trial, yes.
And you,
Like a
just
trial,
like in
yes,
this
sir.
trial, you were on the stand for several days in that trial, correct?
Yes, sir, I was.
And that trial involved the same factual issues that you are litigating here, which is whether you
Objection
committed
calls
domestic
for
abuse
illegal.
against Amber Heard.
Sustain the objection. Next question.
You brought that case against the Sun because you were angry at the Sun for calling you a wife beater, correct?
Well, why wouldn't you be?
Yeah, that's
And you
probably a pretty good reason.
And you went through that trial in London, correct?
I did indeed, yes.
Mr.
That was
Depp,
a
you've already
farce.
had a chance to tell your story, haven't you?
No, there
Objection
were
asked and
great
answered.
limitations in the UK trial.
Overruled. Okay.
No further questions.
All right. Redirect. Thank you.
Okay. There was definitely harm in there, but I do think
Mr.
that
Depp,
they didn't
Mr.
do as much
Rottenborn
as
asked
they
you some
think they did.
questions about the UK trial. Why do you feel that this is the first time that you've actually had an opportunity to tell your story and, as you said, get the load off your back?
As the UK trial was me suing Dan Wooten and the Sun for defamation for calling me a wife beater. The UK have there are different laws, there are different ways they handle things. There are also limitations in
There was also a corrupt
Evidence.
judge, but he can't really say that.
some things can be brought up, some things cannot be
Your Honor,
brought
as I
up,
said,
and
it calls
Mr.
for a legal
Rottenborn.
conclusion. He's talking about limitations in evidence in the English.
Your Honor, he's talking about his experience testifying.
Overruled.
You'll be okay.
You'll be okay.
Yes, there is a very everything is quite boxed in with regard to what can be said, what can be spoken about. So, Ms. Heard provided information to the Sun as their star witness. But
Yeah.
the case was not brought against Ms. Heard. It was brought against the Sun newspaper, journal, whatever it is.
Journal, tabloid.
Mr. Rottenborn referenced that you were on the stand for multiple days.
4.5, I believe, yes.
Yeah. What was the nature of that examination? Or, excuse me, who was conducting that examination of you?
QC Sasha Wass,
And whose attorney was that?
the Sun.
Can we please pull up DX 857A?
All right. It's already in evidence. So you can publish it.
Mr. Depp, do you recall seeing this text message when Mr. Rottenborn was questioning you?
Oh, yes, I do.
No,
Can
yes,
you
I
explain
do.
what you're conveying to Mr. Carino in this text message?
I'm in I'm in total shock that this is happening to me, that my entire life on the planet has been brought to the head of a pin with
Yeah.
all this completely, utterly false information. So I am, yeah, when you're accused of horrific acts and things that you have not done, when it's actually some very ugly things that are going out there into the world about you on a non-stop basis by Ms. Heard and her team, you have a tendency as humans to get very, very irate and angry, not to the point where you go out and hurt someone, not to the point even where you assault a cabinet.
Assault the
But-
cabinet.
You do get irate. You do wonder why this person is doing this to me. So yeah, many things go through your head. And then you've got your family, you've got your kids, you've got your parent. My mom, thankfully, didn't get to read any of this because that would have killed her. But my father, my family, everyone that I've met, the people that have supported me, suddenly I'm scum.
Yeah.
Why? Never had to happen. One little lie. So yes, very angry.
Could we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 821? Mr. Depp, do you recall seeing this text message when Mr. Rottenborn was asking you questions?
Yes, he loves this one, yes.
Yes. Would you care to explain what you're trying to convey in this text message?
Not this one, yes.
Well, Warner Brothers was about to find themselves in quite a dilemma as the person that they had just cast.
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation as to what Warner Brothers knew or thought.
Didn't I meet with them?
All right. If you could just wait for the question. I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Mr. Depp, without explaining what Warner Brothers felt, why did you send this text message to your sister? And what were, strike that. What were you trying to convey to your sister when you sent this text message?
Honestly, I felt responsibility for having gone to those people and painted such a beautiful picture.
Objection. Hearsay, Your Honor. Now he's talking about what he said to Warner Brothers.
Overruled.
Please continue.
You change seats.
So, sorry, you can continue.
I felt it was my responsibility to get the truth to Warner Brothers about what they were going to end up facing down the line, which is two franchises that would be causing problems for one another, especially as any news, any press, any media that came out about me at that time had been turned into, I was Charles Manson, I was the worst thing on earth, and they just kept coming. It was like a nonstop fire. So my responsibility, after having painted a beautiful picture of her for them, was to tell them I think you better.
Objection, Your Honor. He's getting into what he claims he told Warner Brothers or wanted to.
He's saying what he wanted to tell them. He's not saying what he actually told them.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Mr. Depp, you mentioned 2 franchise films with Warner Brothers. What 2 franchise films are you referring to?
There was Aquaman, sorry. Aquaman and Fantastic Beasts, the one that I was in.
And why did you feel a responsibility with respect to those 2 franchise films?
Sorry about that.
Warner Brothers was starting to get quite upset about some of the things that were being said about me in the press that were constant hit pieces.
And Warner Brothers didn't like the bad publicity.
One level, yes, it's just acting, it's just movies, but it's business, and it's your word. And I had given my word to them, and I felt responsible that I had to tell them exactly what was going on, and that it was going to end up ugly.
And which of those 2 film franchises were you a part of?
I'm sorry?
Which of those 2 film franchises were you a part of?
I was in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and I was in the Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Could we please pull up DX 883? Now, Mr. Depp, do you recall seeing these text messages during Mr. Ronborn's examination?
Oh, God, yeah. Yes, I remember.
And you didn't seem to recall these text messages, is that fair?
It truly is fair. It's not,
Do you have any?
knows, I don't know who
They're
Molly
redacting
is. I
right in
don't know
front
who
of
he is.
us.
I don't know nothing about this.
Do you have any
is that?
understanding of what you're referring to in this text message? Or these 2 text messages?
No. I honestly, if somebody else had borrowed my phone or something and made this text to Stephen, possibly. But I don't understand I don't have that kind of.
Are you sure you weren't on cocaine or
I don't
something?
I don't have that kind of hubris or
I don't quite
expectation.
buy that.
That's quite grotesque text.
Can we take that down, please? Can we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1821? Mr. Depp, do you recognize this document?
That is behind the bar, yes.
Okay. And do you see Mr. Ronborn asked you some questions about whether there was a telephone
Yes,
in
now
Australia.
I see a telephone there now.
Yes. And
I do,
did you
I really
recall that
do.
telephone being there?
I don't recall the telephone being there, but I can see it now.
Can we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1820? Do you recall me showing you this text message earlier on? Or excuse me, do you recall
yes,
me
of
showing you
course.
this picture
Yes.
during your examination?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And I think I asked you whether you recall a phone being mounted on the wall in the left of this picture. Do you remember that?
Yes,
And what was your answer to that?
no.
Mr. Depp, Mr. Rottenborn asked you some questions about your honeymoon. Do you remember that?
Yes,
And I believe you had testified that you and Miss Heard were on the Orient Express together.
That's correct, yes.
Where had you been prior to being on the Orient Express?
We had been in Australia, and then made it over to Thailand to catch the Orient Express.
If we could bring up the Plaintiff's Exhibit 162 again. Mr. Depp, do you know who took this picture?
Malcolm Connolly.
And despite what Mr. Rottenborn showed you about the picture of you prior to this, do you see a bruise on your face in this picture?
I see like what looks like a pretty decent shiner and a kind of a scratched up nose, yes.
And do you recall how you got the scratches and the shiner?
There was a very brief contact that Miss Hurley had just before this dinner. I can't remember why, but there were many.
Sorry
I
about
remember
that.
taking the
I think it's
photograph.
getting cold.
I mean, I remember being there. I remember meeting the chef and all that. But I mean, the quality of the photo is not great. The quality of the other photo that you showed is just prettied up.
Yeah, definitely prettied up.
Mr. Depp, did you ever physically abuse Miss Hurd during your relationship?
Never. Never.
No further questions.
All right, so you
Okay,
can have a
then.
seat next to your attorneys. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's all I was planning on streaming for this.
Your
So
next
thank you for
witness.
coming. And I'll see you later.